Welcome back to Gas is on the Right. This is Daniel. We did left turns and right turns this weekend. If I don't finish this intro fast enough, SVG might lap me too.
And we are back to Gas is on the Right podcast. After a weekend at Watkins Glen, want to say thank you to our partners, the Daily Downforce. You can find us on the dailydownforce.com. Just search Gas is on the Right podcast, as well as Sundial Plumbing, all your plumbing needs in the metro Atlanta area. Guys, pick-wise, it was a great weekend for me. I don't know about how y'all fared, but
The universe was not kind.
it was kinder
You
than
broke the
week
trend,
before.
Alan.
I did break
There
the
was
trend.
a split second there when SVG pitted, and I looked at Chris Bushner up there in 6th. I was like, man, maybe Bushner just hold him off. And then before I knew it, they said SVG's up to 8th. I was like, well, so much for that.
Went quick, didn't it?
No.
But yeah, just
Yeah, the
I
way they
mean-
were describing it on TV, I thought there was no way he was going to be able to make up that distance. And then they switched the ticker toward, instead of the distance behind, it was showing the lap times. And I was like, oh, he's going to make up 30 seconds on the field.
Yeah,
Yeah,
how they
when-
were
when
making
Zealot-
it sounded like a long shot for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, it is an impressive run nonetheless, but if you take SVG out of that field, Michael McDowell on the same strategy wins that race.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah.
do think it is impressive, a 29.21 second gap to the leaders when he came out with 24 to go. But at the same time, when you have almost the entire field, other than the people on your strategy saving, you're gonna get there. So because by time that he got to those leaders, it didn't matter. They had already burned up their stuff. So yes, I do agree. Impressive. Best comeback we've probably ever seen on a road course. Most thrilling final stretch of a road course that we've seen. I'd say final quarter of a road course because it's a 100-lap race. But at the same time, if you look at it from the overall perspective, it's kind of an inevitability. Again, Michael McDowell would have won with that strategy had SVG not been there.
I agree, but I also feel like if you didn't have as good of a road course racer as SVG, you wouldn't have had the same results. The fuel is a good point, but SVG, I mean, we all know he is a pretty safe pick on any road course.
Well, I mean, I think what Alan's saying is because Michael McDowell was on the same strategy. So when he pitted before SVG did, and when SVG came out of the pits, McDowell was like on his back bumper. So he basically followed SVG through there and did the same thing he did. So it's still, even without SVG in there, it would have been compelling to watch McDowell do the same thing, which is equally as impressive. But when you consider the fact that they came out nose to tail from the pits and SVG still finished almost 8 seconds ahead of McDowell, I mean, that's just pure dominance. Because the craziest part to me was when they started that last run and SVG was out there running qualifying laps on tires just as old as what he was running people down with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that.
So he set his fastest lap on the aged tires that he was running everybody. You understand what I'm trying to say? Like what the people had when he was running them down, when he had new tires, he set his fastest lap of the race on that aged tire, which is impressive. I mean, he got as big of a lead as he could and pitted. Because the thing to me is, like, most people are like, well, he made up 29 seconds and then put 7 seconds on second place. But I'm looking at Ty Gibbs, and Ty Gibbs finished 16 seconds behind him. Saving fuel or not, making up 45 seconds in 25 laps is insane.
Yeah, Saturday. I don't know if y'all watched the practice broadcast. It was one big practice, 50 minutes because of the rain, and SVG, he told the biggest lie ever: "My car sucks," and but they put the ghost car, and him and the second fastest car, and when he would go through the bus stop and the S's, like he just got this big gap, and they were all saying you're going to have a gap on him before you get to the bus stop. If you don't, it's game over. He's just so good. His footwork, his braking in that area is by far best in the field, and that's what makes him so good. Is how fast he can get through there and get back to the gas. And you know, what would have where would we have been if SVG didn't go and Project 91 didn't exist and he didn't come over and win the Chicago Street Course? Who would have been the new road course king? Probably Michael McDowell. McDowell's probably wishing SVG never came over. But it's just something special to watch. He is, I don't care what Jordan Belanke says, he's still saying he's not the greatest. He's by far the best road course racer I've ever seen, and probably in the whole NASCAR history.
What I do want to know.
I mean, I think it
is
might be
that-
hard for him to break the 6 in a row record that Gordon set, but just because, but the road course competition that Jeff Gordon was facing is nowhere near the level of competitiveness on road courses that there is now. But I mean, he still won freaking 5 in a row with it being what it is,
Yeah. So back then you had Tony Stewart was always pretty good, and it wasn't wasn't uncommon to see Boris said would seem like he was in every one.
Mhm.
Then they'd pull some road course ringers from other series like Indy and stuff over every now and then. But all these guys nowadays can pretty much run road courses, and they're pretty good at it. And SVG's level of competition is, I'd say, like you said, a little bit better than Jeff Gordon's, besides Tony Stewart and maybe Boris Said.
All I want to know is way back in season 1 of Gas is on the Right. I remember when Alan was trying to pick, I don't even know what race it was for, but he was trying to solidify his pick, and he gave me 3 people. And I picked SVG because I liked his name. And he ended up winning that week.
Chicago Street Course, first time.
That's what it was. Yep. Yep.
Well,
He gave me the stats
how
and
you,
everything, and I was like, I don't care. I like his name. Pick him. And he won.
that's your new strategy, Emily.
I was gonna say, if I can't win this week, I'm just gonna start picking off of names. By the way, we are going to be posting the random name picker that I have up on TikTok, so everyone can see what my pick will be. And how I'm actually deciding who I'm picking now.
But going from what was impressive to not impressive, that was Hendrick Motorsports, guys. This is the first time since 2005 Hendrick has failed to place a driver inside the top 20 on a road course in the NASCAR Cup Series.
Oh my gosh, I did
What
not
happened?
realize it was that long.
I don't know, because you can't even blame it on the new body because of what the Trackhouse cars, and I say Spire, but really like Michael McDowell was able, and RCR. Both of them finished in the top 10 on a road course. So you can't blame it on the new body. They just missed the mark by a mile, which is not common that you see that entire organization miss it that much. There's 3 of them might miss it, but at least one of them hits it. And I mean, they were all just awful.
Solid road course racers too. I mean, Larson and Elliott are normally some of the class of the field in your human tier, and then you have Bowman and Byron are competitive. So with road course wins,
Byron won at Watkins Glen in the next gen era.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So to be fair though, Byron was running in the back half of the top 10 until somebody spun him. I'm not sure who it was, but he was up there. Then after that happened, I think Chris Buescher ran into the door, and I don't know if it messed up that arrow of his car. But after that, that was the end of him. So to be fair,
he
I know
busted a toe
Byron was.
link.
Yeah,
went
he
laps
was
down
up there. But
And then you had,
Yeah,
I
after that,
saw, watching the extended highlights again today, I saw Larson got caught up in some tangly stuff out of the bus stop that didn't result in a crash, but you saw him shaking the car. Either they were talking about on the broadcast knocking marbles off, but I'm not convinced that they didn't throw something off on the geometry of the car when he got into that little scuffle. And then Elliott he was there for stage one. They tried to stay out on strategy to score stage points and didn't even score stage points. Got passed by everybody, and then that was it. He got off. They were off strategy at that point, and I think that was just kind of the end of his day, really. With us not having any real cautions, natural cautions, except to what, two.
yeah,
So it was
there,
pretty abysmal.
there's one tent when the tent blew on the track. I
Yeah,
think
the
that was the
tent
only
and Joey
national one we
Logano's
had.
tire.
Yeah,
So,
but
yeah, I mean,
you
Hendrick
know,
was just not on the mark. And normally the class of the Chevys, minus the 97. Uh, so it was interesting to see, and I'm wondering if that's going to translate into our next points race coming up, post Dover. So of course we are not going to overlook Dover, other than the fact that it is not a points race. But we'll see. We'll see when it comes to Charlotte here in a couple weeks how they bounce back. Normally a pretty good Chevy track there.
I was kind of wondering, just this is a kind of rare year. We don't go to a road course in the playoff. We all go all these road courses. I think after we go to Sonoma, and then San Diego, that's it. That's like maybe in the middle of June or July. And was Hendrick pretty much saying, okay, this new body, the setups, the new body, we ain't got it yet. We ain't focusing on our time on the road courses because they're not in the playoff. We're going to spend our time on the road, on the short track, the intermediates, and try to get that stuff better instead of kind of focusing on zeroing in on our road course package. I ain't saying they did that because they're giving up valuable points. We see how valuable points are. I can't imagine Hendrick Motorsports just throwing points to the just flushing points unless they thought their drivers were good enough to get up there and get points. But I don't know. It's just one of them days where I'm thinking, where are the Hendrick cars? Why are they 30th and 24th? And just kind of makes you scratch your head a little bit.
Yeah, and you got to be careful with that mentality if that was the case, because you can't give up that many points. I mean, you look at Reddick didn't even win the race, but how far did he extend his point lead over Elliott, and how far
Yeah.
did Larson and Byron drop? When it comes
Yeah.
to where they were in the standings. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
things that you have to consider in those moments, and make sure that you're not making poor decisions due to points,
Yeah.
But I'm very intrigued to see where we go from here. We're almost at the halfway mark of the season, the regular season. So it's time to really, where the rubber meets the road. Is anybody going to gain on them? Is there a chance that anybody could run down the title, or are we going to be fighting for that second spot to get that best leg up when it comes to the point reset at the playoff, at the chase offs?
Yeah. Yeah. It's getting kind of back on organizations that did do well. Richard Childress Racing, like we talked last week, that Kyle Busch had a good run going until he just kind of threw it away at the end with the deal with John Hunter Nemechek. He was up there all day, but yesterday both cars were top 5, top 6, and they both finished in the top 10. That's the first time since spring Texas in 2024 that has happened. And has this crew chief change for Kyle Busch's team made that much of a difference in the whole organization that because the last 2 weeks have been really impressive for those cars where they went. We were in here talking about, man, they're awful, and the last 2 weeks they have turned a page in a hurry.
Yeah, and I think a
Yeah,
lot
it
of
seems
that
like
has to
there's
do with.
a
Go ahead,
big
Daniel.
chemistry shift. I was just saying, I think the chemistry shift, and there's high tides over there right now, and their ships are have set sail finally. I mean, they're a little late to the party, but it seems like maybe there was just a culture shift over there, and everybody's morale is high because I'm gonna be honest with you. I've followed Austin Dillon like semi closely throughout his career. I don't know if my guy's ever had a top 10 on a road course. Honestly, normally
Yeah.
he's a back half of the top 20, maybe,
Yeah.
and for that, I mean, Watkins Glen is a track position racetrack, and if you can get that track position, well, getting a track position is one thing, but you can still get past, and
Yeah.
to be able to continue to execute, because Kyle Busch was going to get a top 5, but he ran out of gas on the last lap. That's how he ended up dropping to 8th place, because I think entering the final lap, he was 4th, maybe. Because I think he had passed Austin Dillon and Chase Briscoe, and then I think he ran out of gas at some point during the last lap. And on top of that, he was sick. I never saw anything after the race, but I know he had radioed in like the middle of the race, telling him to get a doctor to his bus for after the race. He needed a shot.
Yeah.
So I never saw any update on him after that. I know Emily probably did because she follows him closer.
I did not.
Just
He actually did not update anything on that either. So I'm not really sure what happened with that, in all honesty.
Well, and just a note on your Austin Dillon stat, he had 2 prior top 10s previously, both in 2022, with a 10th place at Circuit of the Americas and a 10th place at the Roval, both in 2022.
Wow.
So,
That was the first year of the next gen, right?
yes.
Yeah.
So you can put an asterisk by it if you like.
Well, and you got to think that's RCR had a head start on everybody else, helping develop the next gen car at that time
Right.
too.
Yeah.
Because
They
I
had
think Tyler Reddick won 3 road course races that year, right?
Yeah. Having Reddick in your stable, who's pretty good at road courses himself, probably helps morale too there.
Yeah. But
So
I think
I mean, but it was good to see both of those cars running good, because when the 3 and the 8 are running good, that's good for NASCAR.
Yeah.
yeah, that's
I
very
don't.
true.
And just another person who I didn't really expect to be in the back a whole lot yesterday was Denny Hamlin. Really never heard much from him. I didn't know Denny was kind of that bad at road courses, but he said that he's not a road course specialist and fan. He kind of sucks at them. And you think of Denny Hamlin, and you don't really expect to see him back half of the field and never really getting shown on TV all day.
At all.
Yeah, like they mentioned him maybe one time, but that was about it. And then it was just kind of surprising to me, especially because Toyotas and how dominant Toyotas have been. You figure they're going to show up with speed no matter what, and he just where didn't he finish? He finished
He finished 16th.
16. Well,
So,
that's respectable, but he was in the back half of the field pretty much all day.
yeah, he had a lot of
Yeah, I mean, even the whole. You go ahead, Adam.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I mean, I feel like the standings the whole day was just like skewed, like just people that you weren't really expecting to see. I mean, obviously, SVG, Connor Zilic, Ty Gibbs, Tyler Reddick, Chris Buescher, guys like that, you were expecting to see them in the top 10, but the rest of it was just weird. It felt like a weird day, because a lot of the guys you expect to see up front just were non-existent all day. It was I don't know. It felt odd. I mean, it was refreshing to see new faces up front, but I don't know. To me, I don't know about y'all, but it just felt odd seeing a lot of those names up there, because I wasn't expecting a lot of it.
Yeah, like John Hunter Nemechek finishing 10th.
Mm-hmm.
When you expect that, when Austin Cindric, but Austin Cindric's pretty good on road courses, but just kind of your typical guys you would think of, like your Daniel Suarez is 13th, Chris Buescher come home 12th, and was just never really a factor. Usually Chris Buescher's just a few years ago where he outdueled SVG at Watkins Glen, and like I said, they were just never up there. Never really. I think the highest I ever saw him was like 5th or 6th, and it seemed like he never could get up there. With SVG, Connor Zelich, and Michael McDowell. Maybe an AJ Allmendinger. Like he was just never on the same level as those cars, and you just kind of thinking, well, that's kind of weird. Your typical guys you think coming in, these are going to be contenders against SVG, and they just never. They kind of laid an egg.
I mean, I felt like RFK kind of missed the mark too. I mean, I know Brad Keselowski is not a great road racer, but I mean, at some points during the day, yesterday, I felt like the only car he was faster than was the 78 car.
Yeah. He finished 30th, and that just he never really. Every time I check the app and stuff, I'd be like, "Where's Brad at?" And oh, he's like 25th, 26th. I mean, okay, whatever. Like he is. I don't know. Just road courses. He's won one. He won at Watkins Glen. He had that that shootout with Marco Sambros there, where they bumping off each other, and he won there. And
no, he didn't. Marcus Ambrose won that race.
Okay, well, I think
Yeah,
Brad.
They showed a stat that Brad Keselowski has like 56 road course starts and no wins.
Oh, okay. My bad.
I think he won in the O'Reilly series.
Okay.
But not in the Cup series.
All right.
Well, overall, a abysmal day. But let me ask y'all these questions. How about how terrible Fox's broadcast coverage was?
I don't like talking about the broadcast coverage.
They did better covering the tent flying around and landing on the track than they've done covering race cars all year.
Yeah, I mean Cody Ware tore the freaking wall down.
Yeah,
on the wreck on the last 9 laps, and no video coverage of it.
Yeah,
and it doesn't make any sense. I mean, even with Barry and Hocevar, I don't think they showed that either.
No,
I mean, I think there was a couple occasions, maybe 2 or 3 occasions with them yesterday, and then I think was it Josh Balicki that took out Catherine Legg? Was he in that race, or I don't know? Someone was wrecked her too. I can't remember who it was. Hang on, I'll pull up I think it was Balicki, Josh Balicki. Yeah, he did try and take out her, and then I mean they did get what happened with Logano with his tire coming off. But I think he had a mechanical failure that led to his tire coming off. But I mean, yeah, they just missed so much.
Yeah.
And I mean, I get it's a road course, but you got cameras everywhere because you follow the car all the way around the track.
Yeah.
So there's a camera somewhere pointed to where if that happens, we can at least get a freaking replay,
Yeah.
But no, nothing.
In car.
I'm going to be very, very, very glad when Prime returns in 2 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
The 600, if they're anything like they said last year, it's the gold standard, and I was really hoping that everyone else would, mainly Fox, would be like, okay, look how good Prime was. Let's step our game up. No, they don't. I don't know. Fox is Fox. We've known that for years now, and but they were not good yesterday. They were, that I've heard a lot of people say, well, that was their first ever race at Watkins Glen. They might not know the exact places to put cameras. I'm thinking, don't give me that, because they can go by NBC, who's been there, and they'll be like, hey, where do y'all usually put your cameras, and stuff like that. It's just, you watch the CW Saturday, how good that broadcast was, and you get Fox's garbage broadcast on Sunday, and you think, man, this is what we could have had yesterday, but we got stuck with Fox.
Yeah, it's was a pretty abysmal shot at that. I mean, the fact that you hear Kevin Harvick on the broadcast, "Oh, we got a wrecked car. That's gonna be a caution," and then we never see the wrecked car. We never know what happened. You get a 2-second glimpse of the rear end of the car skewed, and that's it. I mean, that's pretty pathetic overall. And I mean, that's what happens. I warned you guys a couple weeks ago when I told y'all that was our last big Fox broadcast, that the quality was going to go down. I warned. I called it.
Quality was high. It's not like it was delivering a huge amount. It was delivering better than it did last year, but not, like he said, anything compared to the gold standard that Prime set last year.
Yeah, you can tell that they're getting ready to move on from NASCAR as they wind down to their final broadcast this weekend.
How long is the new media right still? Because they're locked in for a long time, but you can tell
7 years.
Yeah, so there's 6 years left, 5 years, whatever.
Yeah, this is
They got
year
6
2
more
of
years
7.
after this year.
6 more years, and like, I don't know. Will they ever buy themselves out? But I don't know. It feels like their interest has, went to zero, and they'd rather be covering the NFL and spring football. They literally pull. There's very little of a pre-race show, post-race show, and they pull it off straight over to spring football. So that really tells you how much they think about NASCAR.
Yeah, it's pretty poor. But we have good things to look forward to as Prime comes back at our next points race. So, man, Watkins Glen though, I think feel like we've kind of said all that there is to be said about that.
Wait, I have one more question.
Yes.
Did anyone ever figure out what happened between Bubba and Bill?
Don't know. Did anyone listen to Door Bumper Clear today? Because I know Freddie. I sent in the group chat last night what Steven, I can't think of his last name, media member. He went back and watched some of the clips from Bell and Bubba, and there was something where Bell was getting ready to pit with like 42 to go, or Bubba was getting ready to pit. They called him to pit, and Bell didn't know and was basically riding right beside him. And Bubba was trying to slow down and lost like 2 or 3 extra positions before Bell finally let him down and go pit. But Freddie Kraft quoted that tweet and said, "That's not it." So I don't know. And Freddie said he would explain it today on Door Bumper Clear, but I didn't get a chance to listen to Door Bumper Clear today.
So what he said was Bubba wasn't mad at Bell. Bell was mad at Bubba.
Oh.
And it was for, I guess were just racing each other like super hard.
Uh-huh.
And obviously neither one of them had a great day. And so he said it was just, high emotions just because neither one of them were having a really good day and they both needed to have a good day.
Yeah. All right.
So he said there really wasn't anything to it.
So yet again, something that
Allegedly.
Fox did not broadcast.
Yeah, we were watching.
Well, I mean, they showed them arguing, but I don't think no one really knew until Freddie Kraft kind of talked about it on Door
but
Bumper
no one
Clear.
knew that they were racing each other hard. And no matter where they were at in the field, I mean, I would at least note it on the broadcast.
Yeah, well, it's just hard when there's 36 cars out there, you know what I mean? Because you don't want to cut away from the lead to be like, oh, these guys are banging doors in 28th, because that's happening every week. They're just normally not back there in the squirrel's nest.
Yeah. You ain't giving, if you're back there, you ain't giving an inch.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I will say is there was times where they probably could have cut from the lead. More times than not, especially when you'd have SVG get out to a couple second lead. And just let us see some more stuff, because let's be honest, the only reason that they caught that wreck in the bus stop was because the leaders had just came through right before that. You saw the camera was panning towards the carousel, and then it came back to the bus stop. So I don't know. I'm pretty bitter about this broadcast this week. I've been bitter about it all year. So hopefully we'll see a better result at Dover. They only have a mile that they have to cover. So it should be a little bit easier to keep tabs on what's going on the infield and on the track. But I digress.
You know what's crazy? I feel like the first like 3 or 4 weeks, we were actually like singing Fox's praises. Like, oh, they're actually not doing terrible. And I mean, it's just like as their portion of the season has dwindled down, it's just got progressively worse.
Yeah.
You
can feel the importance.
Yeah, you know, it shows in how they put the races on TV, what they think about us, because it was Kansas and Talladega back-to-back weeks on Big Fox, and after that, that's it. You know, we're back to FS1, and over half of the Fox schedule pretty much has been FS1. So, you know, I don't.
It's even more disappointing that your All-Star race is not even on Big Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, let's be honest, this All-Star race is probably going to be a little bit of a joke, but at the end of the day, it's still the All-Star race. The NBA All-Star games, not on ESPN2. It's on ESPN. The MLB All-Star game is on Fox or NBC or wherever whoever got it that year. It's on the big TV. It's not on freaking FS1. And then I think practice and qualifying for it is on FS2. Like, why are y'all taking it away from Prime? At least everyone will be able to find it there.
Yeah. I went back and counted. There was out of all points races this year, 8 of them have been on FS1, and 4 have been on Big Fox, with the Daytona 500, Atlanta, and then Kansas and Talladega. That's it. So 3 super speedways in Kansas. That's it.
That's pretty.
Everything else has been on FS1.
Pretty abysmal.
Yeah.
But the last takeaway that we have from this Watkins Glen, and I will say, I will give kudos to Fox one time today, and that is this statistic that helps us understand why SVG is so good, and that is he is a 10th better than the field than in the bus stop, a 10th better than second in the field than in the bus stop. So there's your biggest thing to look at right there. If you just take that into average and say that Michael McDowell, who was second through the bus stop overall through the field, was able to run qualifying laps behind SVG, running qualifying laps at his best running through the field, SVG just in the bus stop over that last run would have gained 2.4 seconds on Michael McDowell. Just in the bus stop alone. So there's your data points to start figuring out is how do you get through the bus stop better?
Yeah, that's what, like I was saying earlier, Saturday, you know, the Prime qualifying and practice at Fox, you know, it's on Prime, but Fox produces it and everything, and it was pretty decent. And that's what they showed after about 30 minutes in, when they just, you know, they showed SVG's footwork and put Michael McDowell, who was the second fastest car, and showing the difference when they went into the braking zones of the bus stop and stuff, what he was doing different foot-wise and Michael McDowell and how quick he could get back. And that was kind of interesting. Like you said, that's where SVG makes his money, is in the bus stop and out braking you. And he's just crazy good. And I guess that's one prop I can give to Fox's broadcast this weekend, is that, because that was interesting to feel like, okay, this is how he's doing it right here. He's just out braking them and getting back to the gas and hammering it and outdoing them in the bus stop. And you can, because there was a couple times in the qualifying, you know, they do the ghost car, and whoever it was, like, you know, Zelich or whatever, would be ahead of SVG, but when they get to the bus stop, SVG's ghost car would just like shoot ahead because he got through the bus stop so fast, and they never recovered after that. And that was the kind of interesting. That was practice and qualifying. After that, they just went to mill it in.
Yeah,
I guess that's my one praise point for Fox this weekend.
So, but otherwise, nope. Glad to. It is not a sad farewell after Dover this weekend. But speaking of Dover, guys,
Yeah.
we got the All-Star race coming up.
Now, this has
Can I
been
add one-
known to destroy families, apparently.
Can I add one more stat before we actually head on to? I saw this on NASCAR Insights. There, it's about Tyler Reddick. Through the first 12 races, he has the best average finish through 12 races of a 5.67, seen in the Cup Series in over 30 years, best since Ernie Irvan in 1994. And also, his 5 wins this season are tied with Kevin Harvick in 2018 for most through 12 races since 1997. So I just thought that was an interesting stat, and I wanted to add that one before we got on to the All-Star race.
Take
1997
that, the
was a
days
good
of
year.
multiple wins are out.
That it was.
So it just kind of shows you how not normal what Tyler Reddick has done in the first half of this season is. How not normal it is.
Well, are y'all ready for this All-Star segment?
Sure, let's go. Maybe I can figure out how it's going to play out because I'm still confused.
Yes. So I finally
Well-
have the breakdown here.
Okay.
So the 2026 All-Star race at the Monster Mile in Dover will be a 350 lap race. Segment 1 will be a 75 lap dash with the full field. Segment 2 will be another 75 lap dash with the fuel field, but the top 26 finishers from segment 1 will be inverted. And then after that, the final segment, 200 lap segment, will be a 26 car field. The 26 car field for the final 200 laps will be determined by winners of the 2025/2026 Cup Series races and past All-Star winners and champions. Remaining positions will be filled by performance in the first 2 segments and the fan vote winner.
I'm not gonna
So
lie, I feel like
there's-
I'm still gonna be confused on Sunday even after hearing that.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think there's 19 people, or as said, maybe 19 drivers that are locked in. It's Christopher Bell, Josh Berry, Ryan Blaney, Chase Briscoe, Kyle Busch, William Byron, Ross Chastain, Austin Cindric, Austin Dillon, Chase Elliott, Ty Gibbs, Denny Hamlin, Carson Hocevar, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick, SVG, and Bubba Wallace are all locked in to the All-Star race.
And the top 5 in fan vote as of today, NASCAR released, is Alex Bowman, Chris Buescher, Noah Gragson, Ryan Preece, and Connor Zelich. So that's
And Noah Gragson has won the fan vote the last 3 years. So I would probably put my money on him winning it as well.
Which means that you have
He's
5
what?
cars that can race their way in.
Yeah.
So at that point, do you try to finish outside? So what it didn't say is if it's an average finish of your first 2 segments or if it's just the best finish at the end of the second segment. So
Yeah, because if that's the case, I'd want to run 26th.
Yeah, let me run 26 and just kind of conserve, and then I will work to lead. But I'm very yeah, it's we'll see, I guess, on Sunday when they announce it on the broadcast, but who knows if they'll even know what to say.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we know Fox.
They'll probably be asking when the Open starts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
Mike
as
Joy's
long
gonna
as
be like,
that
this
race
is
is
going to
going
be
to
a
be,
befuddled of an event.
as long as that race is going to be, why not just, if you're going to start 36 cars every 10 laps, just eliminate last place?
Yeah.
That'd be the best way to go.
I just don't get, I think I remember asking this when we announced it, what the format was. How are we doing 350 laps? Since in a normal Dover race is 400, so like that's pretty much a whole Dover race besides 50 laps. Like,
Yeah, it's like it's either that or just get rid of the damn All-Star race. You know?
yeah, you just
Well,
add
the thing
Dover back to the
is,
schedule right here. Like, what's the point?
yeah, hopefully they'll actually use it to try something. I doubt that's going to be the case, but hopefully this should be an experimental race no matter what. Same with the Clash. Let them kind of have at it, have some fun. But I don't feel like that's going to be exactly the case. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, because I
But-
haven't seen anything about them like saying we're gonna try something, experiment something on this car at the racetrack. You know?
No,
Imagine, or would this fall under the category of having the 750 horsepower, or
yeah, it's one of the
'cause
tracks
it's
that
a 1
has
mile.
it.
So maybe a lighter
yeah,
tire.
I mean that'll be different. Yeah,
The closest comparable
I mean I
track,
would
though, is
get Goodyear to
Bristol.
bring. Yeah, I'd get Goodyear to bring something that they think just isn't a tire that they think isn't going to work because it's so soft, you know, and it's
Yeah.
going to wear so quickly.
Yeah, it's
Just to see.
yeah, and I mean we're just I don't know. I'm not a fan of this. I'm not a fan of Dover. I haven't been a fan since it was announced last year. But I mean, I've been proven wrong on this before, and I've had to eat crow. So if I have to do it again, I'll do it again.
Yeah, I wonder, if since they did it at Bristol, put the PJ1 down, and because they usually do that on these concrete tracks, will they do it? I haven't heard anything about it. I just went to Bob Hawkers's Twitter page to see if he said anything. So like, this is the All-Star race, so they're gonna just lay PJ1 down and all in the bottom lane for 250 laps. We're just gonna ride around until another lane opens up, because they usually do use the PJ1 at Dover. So, I don't know. Who knows?
Well, if they're experimenting, they should just put it on the top side of the track, put it
Yeah.
on the high line.
But the thing is, like, they'll be like, well, we can't do that because O'Reilly's and Trucks running point races there. So they'd be like, we can't do that. They got to, whatever. So like, lay it down Sunday morning, that all on top, But I don't know.
Yeah, or just
Yeah.
put PJ1 from the top of the racetrack to the bottom.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like,
Yeah, just grip it up.
Yeah. What's the mood phase this week? Because that's
Yeah,
a
right.
new
I think
thing.
it is. I think it actually is what they were talking about on DVC, the waxing or waning gibbous or whatever.
Yeah.
I think this weekend is actually that.
Hey, gripped up, baby.
It's gonna be gripped up.
Yeah.
Well, we got some other industry news. So I want to start out with Hayek Motorsports announces a multi-year contract extension for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. yesterday. So he is locked in for the long term. That also tells us that charter is also locked in for the long term. So that's another one
Yeah.
X'd off of RFK's search and destroy checklist.
Another one bites the dust.
And then, so a couple interesting things surrounding Daytona. The first one right now is obviously, as everybody knows, we are in the middle of a conflict, war, whatever you want to call it, politically and geographically with Iran. And we are supposed to be racing on a naval base based in San Diego in a couple weeks. I've heard rumblings that under the event that doesn't take place, that they're going to move it to Daytona for the street course or the Daytona road course as the alternative for that weekend.
I'm gonna be honest, I was really looking forward to the naval base.
Well, it's not a no yet. They're still going through with the normal track prep like they have. I know they've noticed some issues. This should be a really good race, considering all of the texture, I guess you could say, changes with the different like cement, concrete, asphalt throughout the base where the course is through. But I am very I would love to see it, but just as a fact of what the news is right now, that if it comes to it, they will be racing at the Daytona Road Course that weekend.
Yeah, and also speaking of Daytona, Chris Myers think low key dropped this yesterday during the Fox pre-race show. He said it's not a done deal yet, but there's a rumblings and a possibility the Clash would return to Daytona and kick off the week of the Daytona 500, a Monday night primetime event, which would come after Super Bowl Sunday. Which Daniel called that a couple weeks, months or so ago. He said, "One just not run at the diner after the Super Bowl on a Monday night." So NASCAR must be listening to our podcast, guys.
Well, hopefully they listen
good
to
for them.
Fox too.
About time they start listening. Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna pick up all the good ideas here.
Yeah.
So this is the fan perspective, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that would be really good. I think that's a good way to also really draw in a lot of fans, especially through Fox. Obviously, they produce I think actually the Super Bowl moves to ESPN this year. So I don't know what the promo is going to look like with that, but I still do think that they do a pretty decent job of promoting the Daytona 500 in this kickoff of the season. And I think a Monday night prime time when there's no football, there's no baseball, there's really nothing going on, is a good place for them to put that.
Yeah, I agree. And then also another little tidbit: Steve O'Donnell told Fox yesterday it's likely Homestead Miami will stay as the championship race for 2 years as they continue to evaluate other markets to rotate the finale to, which I'm okay with because I really like Homestead. I think it puts on a good product with this car, and I'm excited to see it back as the championship race. But I'm okay with it staying there as long as they want.
Yeah.
Well,
I
they've invested all that money into it to make it, spruce it up to where it was fit to hold the championship race again, not anticipating that the playoffs were going to change. But I mean, with the new format of the playoffs, I don't think it matters if the final race of the year changes every year. I mean, it could just stay at Homestead. What difference is it really going to make?
Yeah.
Because those
good
10
thing
weeks
about it, though,
are all equally important.
Exactly. And I think that's the good thing about if they change it around or if they don't, is that gives you a little bit more flex to change it around, not let the guys get too comfortable about, okay, if I can go into Homestead with an X amount of points and have an X amount of point day, I'm fine. But knowing that we're setting the car up for Homestead no matter what versus, okay, we're going to be racing here. Okay, we're going to be racing here. That gives you the options to bring in other markets, to do other things and be a little more creative with it. In my opinion, especially in that final stretch, and get out of the monotony of it, because I really think that, for example, you need to move Martinsville up in the 10 race stretch there at the end of the season, because 9 times out of 10, Martinsville in the end of October, beginning of November is cold. The cars, they stick to the track. There's nothing you can do, and it's a track position race the entire race. It doesn't really give that much excitement. Whereas I think a little bit warmer Martinsville, we could see a better product.
Yeah, so I think we talked about that a couple weeks ago after the Martinsville race. That where they have both these races, they're both kind of in that cool weather month, and the weather's kind of about the same mid race. And what would happen with the tires? Because we see these tires are weather sensitive. What would happen if they did move it up? We got a little bit warmer temperatures. Would it fix Martinsville? Would that be a fix all? Who knows? But it's worth a shot.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. That track was running like a summer Richmond race on track temp, and the 115 to 120, burning those tires up on a flat quarter mile. I mean, that would create so much more action, I would think, because you would have to manage a lot more. Right now, you don't have to. You just have to get track position. You get a good qualifying run, and then you just stay there all day.
Yeah.
So I think getting a Martinsville race in a little bit warmer weather, or you don't even have to give me warmer weather. Give me like a changing track. So give me a night race at Martinsville.
Didn't they try that? Didn't they try that a few years ago? Or I thought they did.
I think that was the Xfinity race.
Okay.
Yeah, give me a 6 p.m. start in the middle of summer for Martinsville.
Yeah.
And give me
I think.
we already have a Spring Atlanta, but I don't know what to swap with it.
Yeah.
Give
You
me a
know,
third
they should just
spring.
install sprinklers on the track and keep it wet and let them run the rain tire.
Hey, that works too.
Yeah, keep it a little damp
Mhm.
versus running a sweeper truck, run a water truck like you're at a dirt
Be
track.
like a dirt track. Yeah.
Mhm.
Keep that thing soaked and see how it does.
Yeah. Every 10 laps, they'll just pull the water truck out there and just keep on watering her down.
But well, is it time for picks? I think it's time for picks.
I think it is time for picks.
I don't think it
Well,
is. I think we're just skipping this week.
all right, so let's talk about our finishes last week. So myself, I took the great SVG and netted out greatly with a race win and a points win overall. So I will take that as a dub, putting me up to 44 points in our point standing, an average of 11.5 finish with my picks, and a total of 445 points.
Mm.
Followed by Daniel with a second place finish, or well, fifth place, but second in our points. Fifth place finish, putting him at 37 points in our standings, a 12.5 average finish, and as his overall points at 395. Emily finished third in our standings with a seventh place finish and 27 points to her name this year at a 17.07 average finish with a whopping 328 points on the season. Followed by Daniel Harper, rounding out the end of our field, finishing 12th. He is sitting at 41 points on the season with an 11.15 average finish and a total of 410 points on the season. SVG gave me that win, followed by Daniel with Reddick, Emily with Almendinger, and Daniel Harper with Busher. So that gives me the first pick of the All-Star race.
So time out just for 1 second here. I got a question. So does this count towards like if we say you win Allen or Daniel, what count or the expedition race?
Yes.
Or okay,
We
I
just
didn't
don't
know.
get points for our overall point standings, but we do get actual.
All right.
We get pick points.
Okay, I
So
got you.
and it
All right.
helps your average finish, or hurts
All right,
depending on how your day goes. But I'm gonna take a risk.
Now, I have one more question. Do we
Yes.
have to pick from our eligible picks that we have, or can we pick from the whole field?
It is free game.
Okay.
The whole field is open again. So if you have picked them this year, you can pick them again for our last exhibition race of the season.
Okay.
Now I'm going to take a little bit of a risk factor here, but I feel good with an average finish of I think 6.5 at Dover, and I am going to take somebody that is not locked in yet to the final 200 lap segment, and Alex Bowman. Like I said, an average finish of 6.5 at Dover in the next gen era. He is obviously red hot right now, minus Watkins Glen. He's come back with a little bit of a vengeance and a chip on his shoulder because I'm sure that he knows everybody's talking about if he's going to have a ride. So he is trying to prove it, and he is going to prove it. And I got a good feeling that Bowman is going to be $1 million man at the end of Sunday.
$1
Now,
billion?
question:
$1 million.
Mhm.
Yes.
if he doesn't make the race, what do we put for your finishing position? 36th.
Wherever he finished at the end of the second segment,
Okay.
because that would mean, which that would take so say he finishes 10th in the second segment, then we'd have to count the cars in front of him that say 2 cars in front of him finish 9th, 10th, 8th, 9th, and 10th don't make the cut. So they automatically go to like 28th, 29th, and 30th. Whatever he'd play out on the back end of that is what his finishing position will be. Does that make sense?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. It makes almost as much sense as the format, but we'll continue.
I digress.
I digress. Daniel, you are up, buddy.
Well, I'm going to take a much safer pick because he's locked into the show. I am going to take Chase Elliott.
The concrete dominator himself. I like it. I like it. Well, Emily, you
We're
are up.
letting the universe decide.
All right. So,
So,
as we saw last week, we had Almendinger win on your little rotation shuffle.
yes.
Gentlemen, who should we give her to
Start your engines. I would put all 36 drivers in there and spin it and see what happens.
pick? So, on a realistic, I'm thinking that you throw Byron.
Hmm?
I think
Larson,
Bell,
Hamlin.
Blaney,
Yep.
maybe.
Larson, Hamlin, and Blaney. And let's give her one
Bris-
for good luck. Briscoe?
Briscoe.
Briscoe finished second there last year.
All right. Now we are going to post this on the TikTok and our socials as well, of her screen recording of her doing this right now. But she is about to spin the wheel. So let's see here. All right. And we are spinning, and we are spinning, and we are spinning. And
It is Bell.
Christopher Bell for Emily for the All-Star race.
Thank you, universe.
I was about to say.
Well,
Look, I'm leaving the rest of the regular season up to the universe. My brain is already on Daytona.
getting set up for the last 10 races.
There we go. Now, if the universe is nice to me, I will start playing again. But right now, I am in protest because no matter how good of a pick I pick, they never. They just. Things happen that week to them.
That is true. Well, Dan, you are up, buddy.
Well, the last few years they've called Dover Dennyville, and that will continue on Sunday as he wins the All-Star race. Give me Denny Hamlin.
Denny Hamlin. Good pick. Good safe pick. Look at all y'all being safe and responsible adults.
I know.
Yeah.
Once you get last.
Hey, I got the points to spare right now.
Yeah, he's got a buffer. He's
Yeah, he's gonna
what
like
17 points ahead of you, Emily, so he can afford to lose one.
I
Yeah,
was feeling pretty good coming out of Talladega. Then I was like, well, I have a little points lead now. Then that has all but evaporated.
yeah, I finished fourth and first in the last two races. My picks have with Dan. We are tied for 6 race winner picks so far this season between the two of us. We are the only ones to have picked race winners this season as well. But guys,
I've
I'm
been
thinking
close.
you have been close. A couple second place finishes for you. Emily's been close with a couple second place finishes.
A couple?
But I will say, I know that it is a playoff week, or not a playoff week, it's an exhibition week. So we will see what we have to talk about come Sunday after Dover. But just to give a preview of next week's episode, we will start breaking into our 2026 chase off picks for each of us and how they're performing and who we are worried about. I think now we are about the halfway point. It's time to really start digging into those and seeing how good are we at predicting way too early chase offs and champion picks. So be prepared for that next week on Guesses on the Right podcast. So before we shut it down, does anybody have any final thoughts?
Oh, we didn't do the point standings tonight.
Oh yes,
Did
we
we?
did not. We did not. Emily?
We were too busy talking about the confusing format of
We
the
were.
All-Star race. All right, so with the top 16 in points right now, we have Tyler Reddick, who has been at the top all season. Has he ever even dropped out of first?
He has
I
not.
don't think at all this year.
No.
Oh,
Followed by Hamlin, Elliott, Blaney, Busher, Gibbs, Hocevar, Larson, Keselowski, and Wallace rounding out the top 10 with Bell in 11th, followed by Byron, Priest, Suarez, Cindric, and SVG rounding out the top 16.
Some notable movers, like I said earlier, William Byron dropped 2 spots down to 12th. You have Kyle Larson, he held on, sitting in 8th. Carson Hocevar dropped a position down to 7th, and you had Briscoe drop out of the top 16, and right behind him, kind of surprisingly, you have Joey Logano or Ross Chastain. But some notable gains on the week is you had SVG, of course, up 3 positions. Mike McDowell and Kyle Busch moved up 2 to 21st and 24th, and Austin Dillon jumped 5 spots to 22nd. So those good finishes do matter.
Austin Dillon is only 63 points behind the cutoff line. If they can keep this progression up, could see Austin Dillon in the playoffs. If he's go out and win Richmond, that'd be a big help too.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, for
an
real.
opportunity. I mean, if you really look at this, down to probably I would say 24th and 25th, there is a chance of them making their way. Each of those drivers has an equal opportunity chance. They just have to perform. Good finishes, get stage points when you can, and be smart and don't DNF. But I think out of that group, your most likely to make that are probably going to be Briscoe, Logano, Chastain, and I think that's really who has the best chance just due to performance. Now, if RCR keeps up the way they are, I could see a Kyle Busch or an Austin Dillon making their way into the chase-offs. But they still have a lot of ground to cover, and the time is winding down.
Yeah, and I've listened to Inside the Race last night, and I didn't listen to DBC today, but I saw this post that both of these other podcasts talked about it. I'm going to bring it up here and see what y'all think. Do you think SVG has to go out and win San Diego and Sonoma to secure himself into the top 16 in the chase-offs, or do we think he can make it regardless? If it's say Tyler Reddick or Michael McDowell outdoes him at one of those two, is he still in there? So for me, at times he's been really good on ovals this year, and he's been until last week he had a clunker and he fell himself out. He's been inside the top 16 without a win, and now he's got this win, and if he can maintain ship and just run 15th or better every week, I don't think he has to win both of those races to get himself in the top 16.
My only concern towards that is that Trackhouse has been digressing on the ovals this year. They started out a lot stronger than they are right now. So I think that they're going to have to find some speed in those cars, and he's going to have to go out and perform and really hone in his craft on these ovals. And it's really going to start our next points race at Charlotte. Charlotte's going to be a big deal. That is a 4-stage race. There are so many points up for grabs. You're talking a max point day is 86 points with the fastest lap. So you have to go out and snag those extra points at Charlotte. You don't have a choice, especially if you want to really have a chance to contend. So these guys that are running around the cut line right now are going to have to really think about how to play their race out to get there and get some stage points this next points race coming up. And he's going to have to be one of them because he can't afford to lose out on any points. On the road courses, yes, you can afford to drop and flip the stages on the road course because you're most likely going to win it. He's most likely going to win those. But when it comes to going to Charlotte, Nashville, Michigan, Pocono, the next 4, he's going to have to be smart, try to get stage points, and get himself in the top 15 finishes.
Yeah, so neat. Looking at his, his 2 Coca-Cola 600s he's been a part of. He finished 28th his first year and 14th last year. So he's, did respectable, but like I said, Trackhouse had the speed last year. Ross Chastain wins the race. So, I do agree there that, that maybe I didn't take that into account, that the last few weeks Trackhouse has not been great on speed. But if they can get back to where they were to start the year, I could see him pointing his way in. But it might have to be one of them things where he just has to go out and win, and have the stages and the max point stays to make sure he's in there. But like we said earlier, even though in that last road course is still a month month and a half away from the end of the regular season, so still plenty of time for him to fall out, even winning both of those races.
Yeah, so that's where it's going to take really good points days and just good strategy, good calls. I think there's a chance. I just think that first off, Trackhouse has to improve on these ovals. And we'll see what a couple weeks off from points racing on ovals will do for him. Coming back to Charlotte, coming at the end of the month, Memorial Day weekend coming up.
Well, I think what's important, momentum's real in this sport, and SVG's got all of it right now after this weekend. So if he can cling on to that and carry that over into the next couple weekends, I definitely think for safety measures, if he wins both of those races, I'm fairly certain he'll make it in. But as long as he can ride this hot hand, like he can't go to Charlotte and run 30th,
Right.
He's got to be top 10. He's got to get stage points. But I think he can do it. I mean, as long as Trackhouse is able to build momentum off this win and not just let it dwindle away and be a road course speed only, so I think there's hope for him, because obviously, Charlotte is a race where Trackhouse has historically performed well. So I think Charlotte could be a step in the right direction for them on the oval stuff. But we shall see.
Only time will tell, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, well, Daniel, hit him with those plugs, buddy.
Well, make sure to check us out on the Daily Downforce, and there you can find the link tree to where you can find us on Facebook, TikTok, X, and Instagram. And make sure to follow us on all your major podcast streaming platforms. Make sure to like us and share us with your friends, and continue to listen each week and engage. And you can engage with us on our social media posts, and we will engage back with you. So make sure to like and follow on all major platforms.
All right. Without further ado, we will talk to you guys next week. Post over.